Oh, nervous, but it's okay.
Okay, well, relax if you can. This is People of the State of Michigan versus Marquise Washington, docket number 18-166FH. And Mr. Washington, you're here because a bench warrant was issued. It was issued uh, back last December based on allegations that you were in violation of probation. It's alleged here that on or about December 16th of last year, you removed your curfew tether bracelet. And then the next one is that on or about December 14 of last year, you were instructed to contact Northwest Initiative for your GED programming and job seeking, and you did not contact them. Do you understand the allegations against you?
Yes, ma'am.
If they're proven true, it could subject you to a maximum penalty of up to 15 years in prison based on your original conviction. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. You are represented by Mr. Austin. You also have the right to have a contested hearing on these allegations where you could appear by yourself or through your attorney. You could hear the evidence presented against you. You could cross-examine witnesses and you could present your own evidence. And Mr. Austin, how are we proceeding today?
Your Honor, it's my understanding that he will be admitting to the violations.
Is that right, Mr. Washington?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Washington, as I said, you have the right to a contested hearing. If you plead guilty, you won't have that kind of a hearing, and you'll give up the rights that go along with it. That includes the right to have the allegations proven, the right to have the witnesses against you appear at the hearing and to be able to cross-examine them, the right to have this court order any witnesses that you might have to appear at the hearing, and also the right to testify yourself at the hearing if you wanted to. Do you understand those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Has anyone made any promises to get you to plead guilty?
No, ma'am.
Anyone used any threats or other kinds of pressure?
No, ma'am.
Are you pleading guilty because you believe you did violate probation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, tell me how you violated probation. What did you do?
Like you said, I didn't report, and my tether is gone. So
You
for
cut your
the
tether off?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, and that was back last December?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And the court finds the plea is understandingly, voluntarily, and knowingly made. It is supported by the testimony. The plea of guilty is accepted. Mr. Washington is found guilty of probation violation. Agent Spear, is there a recommendation? And you're muted.
No, Your Honor, I have not received the police report yet from Michigan State Police for this arrest. He was charged with resisting and obstructing, but it was the warrant was never picked up
It was
by the
dropped.
prosecutor's office, so it was dropped. However, the behavior that is in the police report would definitely add to the potential sanction. He's had several abscond periods. 441 days of his height of probation has been spent on abscond status. He does have 39 days jail credit and sentencing guidelines of 0 to 11. I am asking for 2 weeks to prepare a PVR.
I don't really know why I need that. I mean, his violation, which is the only thing I'm sentencing him on, is removing his curfew tether and not going to Northwest Initiative.
Yep, I would be adding a charge of on May 15th, 2021, the defendant was arrested by Michigan State Police, a violation of state law.
Well, an arrest is not a probation violation. And if there's a charge, you said they did not charge?
Correct.
Well, I mean, I think the violation is significant enough here that, you know, if you have a recommendation, you could make it, but if you don't, that's fine. I can do without.
I'm happy to make a recommendation. I just thought that my recommendation requires a PDR, but if it doesn't, I'd be happy to recommend 11 months jail, probation revocation, and credit 39 days served.
All right, thank you. Yes, you don't need a written report unless it's a MDOC recommendation. Thank you. Mr. Austin.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Speaking with Mr. Washington, I have impressed upon him, how important it is, if at all possible, that he remain his status as a youthful trainee, because that's something that he's going to benefit from for the rest of his life by not having this particular conviction on his record. And I think, at least, to his credit, in my discussion with him, he really seemed to understand that. I know he had some missteps here along the way. Positively speaking, it sounds like he's employed, and he has been employed for some time. Even when he was incarcerated for a point when he was on Eaton County probation, participated and completed in the RAP program, completed all their programming, he was able to be released from that after being successfully discharged from probation and got the same job back that he has now. He's expecting his first child in September, and I know he's really wanting to stay out there and keep working to be able to support himself and to support his family, and that he is willing to do what it takes to complete the probation. So I would just ask the court if there's some way that he can continue on probation as a youthful trainee, even if he has to serve some type of incarceration as a sanction, where he could at least keep working. Or if the court is not inclined to do that, I would ask for a sentence towards the lower end of the guidelines and not the top end that's being requested by the Department of Corrections. Thank you.
Thank you. And now your turn, Mr. Washington. Is there anything you wanted to say?
Yes. I just want to say this to Mr. Spear, because I know we ain't really been on good terms since probation, but I understand, bro, that I cut my tether off and everything, but it's just a lot of frustration and a lot of stuff that was going on. I already completed my county probation. That was really complicated, and I did RAP. But before I went to RAP, my PO before you, Nicholas Mills, said that I was going to be discharged just with Eaton County if I completed the RAP program. And when I got out, that's why I was like, how am I still on probation? And then I had to do the tether again. Then I was like, that's when I asked you. I was like, well, sir, can I just do my time? Because I don't want to be on tether. And he was like, no, well, and then that's when everything happened. But I understand that I cut it off. It was a mistake, and I absconded. But yeah, I completed 2 probations already. I'm just ready to get over with, complete this. You ain't gotta worry about me doing that no more. And then with NWI, I was working 40 hours a Monday through Friday from 7 to 4. So and NWI is from 11 to 4. I would have been messing up the employment hours, which to pay probation, pay for a kid. I was just like, I feel like the job would have been more better if you let me just work and not go to NWI, because when I was in county, I was doing my GED, but they didn't have the graduation, so you can't I guess you can't take the test and everything, but written test, but they'll get you ready for it. That's what I was working on that, but yeah, I just want to know if there a way I could keep my employment. That's really the most important part, is my employment, and like weekend, huh? Land Visions on Old Lansing Road.
Like a landscape place?
Yeah, landscaping, drywall,
Okay.
not drywall, but mulch, putting mulch down.
Okay. Anything else you wanted to say?
No, ma'am, I said.
Okay, well, Mr. Washington, I understand being frustrated. We all get frustrated by things in life. What I wish
Correct.
that you from probation and from programming that you had was that there's ways to deal with your frustration, and just cutting off your tether and taking off and absconding for what's been now like 5 months is just not an acceptable way to deal with it. And it only
I
put
under-
you in a worse situation. So, these decisions are your decisions that you can make, and you can make better decisions about feeling when you feel frustrated
yeah.
about what to.
So I had like it was like I had 4 different probations going on, and I might have had really when I was the house that I got tethered to, they kicked me out. So either way it go, it was gonna be a violation.
Well, it didn't have to be.
I understand that. I made it. I shouldn't have.
That's where you call your agent and you say, I've got a problem. I'm getting kicked out of this house. I'm on tether. I don't want to violate. Can you give me some guidance, some direction? That's what he's there for.
Right.
So, I hope
Understand.
that you got more out of the RAP program than
Oh
what
yeah,
it.
that was hard. That was one of the most hardest things I've ever had to get through. That is, mental. That's all. It really get in your head. You really gotta have like. But that was hard. That was one of the hardest programs I had to go through. I
Okay.
had to do MRT, CTC, all this stuff. NWI. It was in rap. That's what I wasn't understanding. Like I did rap program. Everything that was wanted in NWI was in the rap program, and I successfully completed. I got their certificates, everything.
Yeah, well, I mean, NWI helps you get a job as well, but,
I was,
I'm not gonna die. So you have a valid point, that there was overlap, but that's my point. There's ways to deal with that then,
I was
and
trying to.
sometimes,
I was trying
I know, Mr.
to.
Washington, I want you to succeed in life, so just listen to me for a second. You'll have frustrations throughout your entire life, and there'll be times where you think, well, this is stupid, why do I have to do this? But you have to do it. So as mature adults who, live within the law and are successful, you and I and everybody else, we learn to suck it up. And, you do it because that's what you got to do. You don't cut off your tether, or you don't, take off. You suck it up. And, I wish that you would learn to do that so that you can be the success that you have the potential to be, and you really do. But I mean, I don't know, it with I mean, the RAP program, I would have thought would have been excellent programming for you on
It
helping
was.
you through things like that. Okay, well, I mean, the violation here is serious. I mean, cutting off your tether, and not even as an impulsive moment, but to abscond for 5 months is significant. And I look back on the history of probation, and it's not been great. We've had multiple violations. I'm going to revoke probation and revoke YTA status. I will go below the recommendation though and sentence you to 120 days in jail. You get credit for 39 days already served.
Can
The
I
bench
ask one?
warrant is dismissed, and you have the right to file an application for leave to appeal your conviction and your sentence in this matter. You're entitled to an attorney at public expense to assist you in doing that. If you're making a request for one, you have to make it within 42 days of today's date. It explains that more on the form we will send to you called appellate rights. And that will conclude the hearing here today, Mr. Washington. You can tell them at the jail that you're